job. Oh, I want to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. But I sure do love my job. Yes, I sure do love my job. Yeah. Oh, I really love my job.
Good morning, Rooted Men. This is Tim Morton, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Southeast Michigan. Honored to be with you here this morning to continue on our journey through discipleship, E3 discipleship. And last time we were together, we talked about engaging God first. And today we're going to talk about engaging the heart. Discipleship journey is one that's deeply relational. And when we go back to Paul in his first letter to the Thessalonians, he talked about how they shared the good news of the gospel with them, but they also shared their life. So life-on-life relationships is a great place to go deep. And one way to do that is to engage the heart. And the Bible describes the heart as the very core of who we are and the things that we treasure the most. So, Rooted Men, I'm just asking a simple question. What can we learn from Jesus about how he engaged the heart? That's what we're going to talk about today. The first point I wanted to make is how he used pointed questions. A good question is a great conversation starter. And Jesus was the master at asking pointed questions that spoke right to the heart of the person. A good question is something that will open someone up about what is really, truly important to them. It creates the space for us to discuss the deeper truths and to point us to Christ. And pointed questions reveal a person's receptivity to the true gospel. For example, when I'm engaging with coaches, I have a series of questions. If I don't know that coach very well, it gives me an opportunity to get to know them. Here are those questions. Why do you coach? Why do you coach the way that you do? What does it feel like to be coached by you? And coach, how do you define success? And so I don't ask them consecutively, but I'll ask them at specific times, and I'm just quiet because that will tell me a lot about where they are and what they're about and what they treasure in their heart. Rooted Men, do you have some pointed questions that you have prepared for those that you're doing life with? I recommend that you do. Also, we want to share powerful stories. You know, we learn from the stories of others. There's nothing like sitting down with a great storyteller. And Jesus was a master at this. And he was constantly telling stories to share illustrations about the kingdom and engaging with others. Stories convey truth and they're easy to relate to. They stir our emotions and our thoughts. And you might even want to consider sharing a personal story to open the door for deeper relationships. I love the parable of the sower in Matthew 13. And when you read through that, when I'm sitting with a coach and we're talking about the master coach, Jesus, and how he engaged, one of the questions that I could ask, heart questions, would be, which of those four soils, coach, describes the condition of your heart right now? And I can even take it one step further and I say, coach, do you know the soil of your players? So asking pointed questions and sharing powerful stories can help us go deeper into our relationships with people. What Jesus stories will you use, Rooted Men, to engage someone today? Do you have one in mind that you could share? The last point I wanted to talk about is sowing seeds broadly. Getting back to that parable of the sower, we're sowing seeds. And Jesus described his word, the truth, as a seed that enters into the hearts of people when they're receptive to it. We're like a farmer planting seeds. We don't always control the type of soil that seed is landing upon, but we do control the amount of seeds that were being sown by us. God calls us to share his word often and everywhere. I'll say that one more time. God calls us to share his good word often and everywhere. Like a seed, it starts small, but God is the one that grows it, right? And through his power, it will take root and it will bear fruit. As my walk as a coach, one of my testimonies is that I share with coaches is how I coached prior to becoming a follower of Jesus, where I was pursuing championships rather than relationships. And then how coming into knowing Christ in a greater way and learning his blueprint as a master coach actually transformed who I was, changed my why. And now my coaching became a ministry, became for a greater purpose. Rooted Men, have you written down your personal testimony and practiced it? Do you have a 5-minute, a 10-minute, and a 30-minute version that you can share in a powerful way? Remember, it's your truth of how Jesus has transformed you. And it's what people need today is they need to see the evidence of God's faithfulness in the lives of others and be inspired by it. I pray this has been a blessing to you today. Join me in a couple weeks when we talk about engaging the gospel. God bless.